Hi, welcome to How to Be a Humane Leader Without Losing Your Job. In this podcast, we dive into compassionate leadership in today's fast paced business environment. With our experience and insights, will help you lead with heart while securing your career. Join us for engaging conversations and practical advice to elevate your leadership skills and make a real difference. I'm your host, Roberto Torres, a seasoned startup engineering leader, alongside Chris Ollerkin, a Fortune 100 IT leader. Today, we're discussing a challenge with a team member who has a lot of potential but is constantly rebellious and doesn't fully comply with their responsibilities. Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm doing good, Roberto, and I want to call out to our audience that Roberto is a very humane leader. Yesterday, I had a series of emergencies, and he was able to flex the schedule of our recording today and just showing an example of being a compassionate leader, still getting the job done, but being compassionate with rescheduling. So thank you very much for that, Roberto, and good to see and hear everybody today.
Oh, no, don't say that. It was the least thing that I could do. Family is always a priority and a health as well. So, man, I'm always to, I'm, a, I'm here always to help you.
What a humble and humane leader you are. So let's get into the topic.
Great, great, thank you. And for this, I'm kind of blush right now. Well, okay. Today's topic, we're going to grab some of the storytelling characters that we have done in the past. So today, what we're going to talk about is about Jamie's problem. Her bio is the following. Jamie is a 38-year-old IT manager who has been in leadership roles for several years, but has recently realized that she's been putting numbers before people. She's had a wake up call and wants to shift her leadership style to be more humane, but she's not sure how to change her ingrained habits and still meet her department goals. So the problem with Jamie is that she's facing a challenge with a team member who has a lot of potential but is constantly rebellious and doesn't fully comply with her responsibilities. This is causing friction within the team and affecting productivity. Jamie wants to be a humane leader and help this team member improve, but she's not sure how to approach the situation without causing further disruption. So tell me, Chris, have you faced something like that, or what? Which best advice did you throw to Jamie?
Yeah, certainly. Well, recognizing that you want to change your style is a good first step, and I'm glad she's thinking about how she can do some things differently here. If she's been putting numbers before people, I'd be interested to hear, is she maybe communicating some of the numbers to the team, with this team member who's a bit rebellious, clearly a high achiever, but not following along with the goals. Sometimes I found that some of these folks that really want to manage to numbers do a really terrible job of communicating them to the team so that they fully understand the expectations. Obviously, goals and accomplishments are number one. The business has got to succeed. But I found that, if you've got a very intelligent team member who doesn't seem to hit the mark, doesn't always contribute on the timetable that you need them to, even though they're fully capable of doing it, lots of times it boils down to do they have it clearly clearly understood what they have to deliver by when. So I would start out with making sure you're sharing the numbers that Jamie likes to manage to, and have that heart-to-heart discussion with this team person. Say, hey, this, we really need X completed by Y date, and I know you're fully capable of doing it. I've seen you achieve similar kinds of things, but look, I just don't have any flexibility on the dates. My leadership needs it by this date. I know you can do it, but we've already had to move the date twice because you weren't finished. We got to get this done, and have that kind of open discussion with them about the numbers, being really clear. This needs to be due by this date, because that still leverages her style of being numbers oriented. But maybe she's got to be a little more compassionate with the team and say, what's my flaw? Where's the failure point in how I'm trying to manage the team? And is it that maybe the team members don't fully understand the things she's managing to, or why leadership is a certain date? Sometimes people work better when, hey, you gave me the date, but I don't understand the why. Maybe this rebellious person really needs to know the whys. Well, this hinges on a marketing release where marketing's going to start a new campaign for the product, and we need this feature finished before that marketing campaign kicks off, and explain the other contingent parts that are, really important in getting this work completed. And sometimes that why of the dates can motivate that rebellious person, because usually the rebel has a hero streak. They want to come out and be the hero and save the schedule, and find out that marketing's going to spend, I'm going to make up the number, $1 million marketing, and the new feature is part of that marketing campaign. Well, be the hero, be ready ahead of time. We can test it a lot, and marketing can really promote your feature that you've created. Those kinds of things frequently can help.
Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you, I took her with all the stuff that you gave, that you told me. The thing is, what I'm seeing here is that Jamie has two problems. First of all, she, as we spoke in a previous podcast, she puts numbers before people, and this is something that it is like a snowball. That it is a problem that if you spot it when the snowball is it is from a small size, you can stop it. But as it rolls down the hill, it could go as big as, I don't know, a building. It will roll you up.
Yeah.
And that is the first problem. The second one, it is how to fully understand what is going on with this team person, the one that is rebellious. Why is this person doing the things that he or she is doing? It might be a soft skill, a lacking of soft skills. It might be that there was a problem with them in the past, but until she learns what is going on with this person, even though this person might be rebellious since he was a kid, I don't know, but in the end she has two big problems. And the first one, to address the first one, as we spoke before, they require to maybe change her leadership styles to overcome this and to be more humane without losing the metrics, to be rather than being tight with the numbers, be maybe flexible, but getting involved the team, what is the name of this? Democratic leadership style.
Or collaborative.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. That one. I think that will solve the first problem. But the second one, I think what Jamie requires to do is to have a meeting with this person and to know what is going on and try to do a lecture of the face gestures and the body, movement of this person when she asks to this person, hey, what is going on? Why are you rebellious? And try to be empathetic with this person, so she could maybe lead and direct the conversation to fully understand what is going on.
Yeah, I agree. That one-to-one you're having with them, especially when it's a fairly new person you're working with. She's been a leader for several years, but maybe the team member is new. That one-to-one time where you're with them in rebellious person, open up. and explain the challenges. You know, did the missed deadlines occur because of not fully understanding the problem, or hey, I needed to learn something new? So maybe they are procrastinator, a lot of talent, very talented, but procrastinates. So in knowing that, then the leader can be more focused on their development, right? In terms of, okay, they're probably always going to procrastinate, but let's learn the skills well before the due date that those skills need to be applied on the project to get the goals met. So you know, it's very clear that, you know, Jamie has had this experience, and she's recognizing it's twofold, not just her, it's twofold problem. She wants to change her style because it's not totally working, but she's got an employee who's a little delivering underneath their skill set. They could do so much better. So it's really, I think that she's got a great opportunity to grow both her employee and herself. And by having that private one-to-one, like you were talking about, you get to understand there's some root cause of the underperformance. Let's
Yeah,
look at it, and how can I help you be successful? That collaborative style with that rebel usually is, how can I help you, rebel, be more successful?
yeah. How can I help you, rebel, not to be a rebel?
Exactly. Um, Keeping in mind, sometimes you cannot completely change their personality per se, so they may always be a bit rebellious, but hopefully more on time with their rebelling.
Yeah, let me tell you something. This scenario, which Jamie is facing, it is a scenario which it is more common during interviews. You know, it is a behavioral question in which they ask, okay, you have this rebellious person, what are you going to do? And the answer depends, no, excuse me, uh, what you say about the answer might be a counterfeit or or wouldn't be. So I think that this is a pretty common issue, not during interviews, but in real life.
Yes. Yeah. No, I would agree. And my personal experience is the more intelligent and the higher the potential someone has, frequently they are the most rebellious.
I disagree with that. I think, and let me explain my point of view. It is not. I think it's not the higher the intelligence or the higher the IQ. I think it's the less EQ, which brings these kind of problems. You know, the emotional quotient. The
Yes.
thing is, people might be a genius, but if they lack such maybe resilience or let's say emotional intelligence, they will be the most rebellious because they don't know how to act with one people, you know, second, a team, third, maybe different situations, and they will do whatever they chose or whatever they think is the best. And for that, I don't know if you watch a TV show that was broadcast a few years ago that was called The Big Bang Theory, and they okay, Sheldon has had this problem. This guy was totally intelligent, but he lacked emotional intelligence. So in this case, I think that is the problem. We
Yeah,
won't
no,
get
you're absolutely right. I completely agree with you. And now that you drew the parallel of the Big Bang Theory, which was one of my favorite shows, very, very brainy, intelligent jokes. So I really like that. But you're spot on. I retract my statement and defer to you. You're right. It's really the biggest sign is emotional intelligence, your EQ value. Because if you have zero on that, you probably won't get along very well with your team members. And on the Big Bang Theory, those friends of his were very forgiving in terms of how this rebellious person, the rebellious Sheldon, let's say, didn't really collaborate all the time, and they were very forgiving like that. In the business world, that Sheldon character unless they were literally the owner of the product, probably would have been fired.
Yeah, and I think that with this analogy of this TV show, maybe the friends were the balance for Sheldon. To be fit, to be fit into life. So let me put you a question. Let's say that you're the leader, that you're a Jamie, and that you have this problem. Would you identify maybe these people with this person to be with this low EQ, and by that would you um, because one thing it is that some people doesn't want to change. They are happy with themselves and they don't want to change. But since you recognize this person's value, maybe you could I don't know, uh, have this person put on onto a team which he could have maybe a balance of people. I don't know if I'm expressing correctly.
I think what you're saying is what's the best way to leverage. I'm Jamie, the
Oh,
team manager, right? And I've got Sheldon
yeah.
reporting to me. What's the best way to be effective with the Sheldon type person? Um, my experience has been you really got to get lucky with the team members you have, because if the team members, so let's suppose there's 8 other team members, and they all just nobody has the skills to work with this rebellious person, then unfortunately, unless they are truly the key player that is making the product work, you probably have to let the rebellious person go. Now, in some situations, I could see where you would maybe isolate. So in a team of 8 or 10 people, maybe 2 or 3 can work with the rebellious person. So you try and structure the project such that they interface with the rebellious person, and you do a lot of interface with the rebellious person to get the deliverables. To be successful overall for the team, you still need this high IQ, low EQ person on the team. But the benefits got to outweigh all this extra effort you're putting in on it. I mean, this really has got to be a person that can deliver things that you don't think the rest of the team can cover, right? To make it worthwhile, so that you can have 2 or 3 team members that can work with the rebellious person and deliver high output, very successful, still make it work. But if you've worked with this low EQ person and just it's so disruptive to the team, sometimes you got to say, you know what, this just isn't going to work. I would prefer to have that high IQ, low EQ person on my team, because I have managed situations like that and can usually negotiate between the other team members and this person to make it work. But it takes a lot of effort on the leader, a lot of effort. And if you don't have the time and energy to do that, I think that the team will start to dissolve. You'll take a team of performers and they're going to start to perform low because they're not going to be happy, because the rebellious person's making their lives miserable with their low EQ.
Yeah, indeed. And one thing that, well, you're totally right, because I didn't thought with my suggestion that I didn't thought thoroughly nor clearly. And the thing is, you might have an awesome team, because yes, indeed, we are very lucky when we have a team which has a lot of cohesion, which get along perfectly, which are productive, and their performance is way to the clouds. And I think maybe grabbing this person into the team might disrupt the team. So you must also think about what you shouldn't do. This is like chess. If you move maybe a rook or a knight um, to a certain position, what are going to be the outcome of that? Is it going to be good for you? Is it going to be bad? Or what what can you do? So you must foresee this kind of things, otherwise it's going to be a problem.
Absolutely. Completely agree. And it's hard to predict, unless you've been there in the company for quite a while. You may not know the personalities well enough to know if the team can be successful with a low EQ person. If you've been there a number of years and all the different players have been maybe in different teams, but have all been there for a long time, then maybe you got a better chance of assembling a team that could still work very well with rebellious but low EQ. It kind of depends, is my answer.
Yeah, and I think the answer that maybe Jamie is expecting it isn't as simple as just saying a phrase. It is a work that has to be done constantly, and she will have to decide if in maybe I don't know if you concur with me or not, if you concur with me or not, but in the end, if this person doesn't change, is still rebellious after a huge deal of effort by herself, maybe the team members and everything, maybe it would be time to either move this team person to another team, or uh, maybe fire this person from the company.
Yeah, it really will depend. I agree with that, and so we'd really have to get into the details with Jamie and talk. Spend more time coaching the rebellious person, and more other details might tell us that, oh, well, based on all these things that you did already, it's really not so much about being a humane leader as much as it is being a fair leader and humanely moving the rebellious person to a role where they can be successful in a team where they can be utilized and match their skills and their EQ together. Because sometimes it's just not a good fit with the team. And you got to weigh that. What's the benefits to the whole team? What's the benefit to the company? And that's a tough part of management, because it's not that black and white. You just don't add it all up and come out with a number, and that's the number. That's where you can't be the numbers manager that Jamie is. There's a sensitive side. There's a collaborative, measuring the collaboration between the team members, and if it's suffering, sometimes that means somebody's got to go.
Yeah, indeed. And this happens regardless of a startup, SMB, or a big company. Okay,
Exactly.
indeed. Okay, so we're going to do the wrap up. Great. Well, thanks for joining us on another episode of How to Be a Humane Leader Without Losing Your Job. We hope our insights help you become a smarter and more strategic leader. Apply today's lessons to see the positive impact on your team and career. Catch all our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and YouTube. Join us next week as we discuss something trendy in the leadership world. Until then, stay humane and stay successful. Bye bye, Chris.
Talk to you later, Roberto. Have a great day.
You too.